everyone, it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm here sharing a new layout for Pink Paislee, and this one is part of the week on the blog, which is Stars Week. So for me, the Moonstruck collection is perfect for this theme because there are a lot of starry elements within the papers and the embellishments. One of them being this constellation type paper, and I just knew that I had to create a layout featuring it, and I thought that a perfect subject to document with this paper being a dark navy paper would be my husband. So I grabbed out one of our wedding photos that I hadn't yet documented or scrapbooked as part of my wedding album, and I've changed that to black and white to fit with the colorings that I wanted to use on this page. And then what I have done using my Cameo is I have cut one of each of the stars on that navy pattern, so using the remaining piece, and then I've cut the same stars in twice in vellum. So on those stars that you can see on the page that I've laid out in that diagonal direction, I've got a star that's vellum, and then the pattern paper on top, and then another layer of vellum. And my idea is that I'll stitch through the center of them, and then I'll fold them all upwards and create a really multi-dimensional layout. So that's the thoughts in terms of design. And now what I'm doing is going through the ephemera pack, going through the rub-ons and all the other bits and pieces, and gathering anything which has navy, gold, or a sort of bluey minty kind of colouring to it. So you can see I've grabbed out a couple of bits and pieces that I'm starting to tuck in and add as embellishments, either near the photo in the bottom left corner or at that scattering of stars that's going up the page. I decide that I'm happy with the placement of where the stars are and where that pattern paper is, so I'm going to start to stick things down. And what I've done off camera is I've done the machine stitching through the center of those stars. There were a couple there that were too teeny tiny for me to even try and manipulate through my sewing machine. I would have been able to figure out a way of doing it, maybe if I had have taped the grouping to a piece of paper and then fed it through, but feeding it through just on its own was just far too tricky. So what I ended up doing was just using my tiny attacher and just stapling those together, and it still gives me the same effect of being able to fold in the edges. It just doesn't look the same as the stitching, but I'm happy with how it looks either way. So I did that on the real teensy tiny ones, and I'm just adhering them down just with that tape runner to the back of the page, and I'm just adhering obviously that vellum layer at the very back, and then I'm folding them inwards. And then with some of those other embellishments, I'm using either a foam adhesive or my tape runner to adhere those down. My actual photo there, I've just matted on, it's sort of a black text paper. It's a really, really pretty paper. I had a look through some of the others and I just felt like nothing else quite worked, or there was a bluey, a tealy sort of colour one, but I felt like that was maybe a bit too different, than didn't give the look that I was after, so I ended up going for that black. Then I remembered that we had this gorgeous washi sheets, so I thought and looked through and saw and tried to find any that I thought would coordinate as well, because that will give me some extra embellishments. So because I'm limiting my colour palette, because I want to create a masculine layout with this collection, it means that I have to dig through and really try and find the bits and pieces that will work on this page from this collection. So, you know, the pinks I didn't really want to add, and the softer colours I didn't necessarily want to add, apart from that little mint touch of sort of that minty green. So I go through, and any of the washi pieces that I thought might work, I have just stuck onto some white cardstock and cut around. And I do that so that I can move it around the page until I'm happy with where I've placed it. And plus, I like the look of those washi because it is quite, it's a bit translucent, that if I stick it on the white cardstock, I feel like the image of it really stands out a lot better than if I had have stuck it, say, onto that navy paper, that the design would be lost. So I was feeling like at this point my layout needed something else. I felt like it wouldn't have been finished if I had have just stuck down the photo and finished sticking down those embellishments. So what I was noticing when I was staring at my page for what felt like hours trying to figure out what to do was that constellation paper has this circular design, obviously, and then it has lines sort of coming off the edge there, and you can see that I'm sort of following those lines, and I'm tracing and drawing lines from the edges of the lines on the paper to the edges of my cardstock. And then what I do, as you can see there, I'm playing around with the stitching, is I stitch those lines just to create a bit of detail and a bit of texture on that background. And it also, I think, brings your eyes into the center and into the photo. So it sort of serves two purposes. It's done for looks, but it's also done for a bit of that design and helping guide your eye to where I want you to look. I guess there. Yeah. Anyway, so I do that and I add the stitching. It's just a single straight line stitching all the way around on those lines. There wasn't lines. I've also added an extra line between the 2 points that are coming off the pattern paper just to bulk it out a little bit. And then I've got some of those rub-ons and I've taken out the gold ones, and I'm just adding those, just scattering those around the layout as well. I am going to add that gorgeous text die cut as well to the left of the photo, and I'm nearly finished. So I've added some foam adhesive behind that photo as well. That just pops up and helps sort of keep the dimension that I've got going on with all of those stars. If I was going to adhere the photo flat against the page, I don't think it would quite look as effective, just due to all of those stars being so multi-dimensional. So I typed some journaling, and it's just a quote that I found, and what did it say? It's if you'll be my star, I'll be your star. If you'll be my star, I'll be your sky, or something to that extent. You'll see it in the close-up images anyway. I thought it was really cute. There you go. If you be my star, I'll be your sky. I just thought that was sweet. And it went with our theme, and I thought it was quite cute. So you can see there all of the dimension, and I'll be back shortly to share some new layouts with you. And yes, stay tuned. Keep watching the Pink Paislee blog for lots more shares from the team. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.